it's just hard to watch. It's hard to watch that happening and the crowd cheering. Yes, we have seen police officers shoot a man in the back in Kenosha. What they didn't tell us is that the man with multiple arrests and an open warrant and charges with physical assault and battery, likely of his baby's mama, after a neighbor called the police and the police showed up, he resisted arrest. I think they actually attempted to tase him. He fought off the police, ran to the front seat of his car and leaned in, where he was finally shot. Finally, a news report came out to say that he was unarmed, except for the weapon in his car. Interesting. He was unarmed, except for the weapon in his car. So I wonder what is going to happen the next time this police officer pulls somebody over and decides to flip him some shit. Or there's a rioter or a domestic violence, and this is how he is being treated. His alert systems are going to be on level 12. He's probably going to have a far more sensitive trigger finger because of F-tards like these that throw a metal object with decent velocity at his head with intent to harm. I was pulled over by the police 2 nights ago, coming back from Walmart. I pass a cop on the side of the road, the lights go on, and I'm like, I mean, I only had a couple bowls, I'll be good. No. Anyways, so I pulled to a stop on a little crossroad. I had my driver's license out. I had my window down. My hands are on the steering wheel. Now, unfortunately, I was on the phone talking to a patient, to a mom with a baby with failure to thrive, and I asked him politely if he could give me just a minute to finish the conversation. I hung up. I apologized for wasting his time. I handed him my driver's license, asked him how he was doing, and what it was that I had done wrong. I had my running lights on, my daylights. I did not have my actual beams on. So it could have been a broken taillight. I mean, getting pulled over for that, like everybody going, pulled over for being black. Well, it was nighttime and I have tinted windows. So he wasn't targeting anybody. It was just the car that didn't have their proper lights on. The situation went as smoothly as it did, not because of the color of my skin, but because of the courtesy with which I showed him. I presented as we are all supposed to do. Not because if we are a certain color, like if I reach for my glove box, if I reach for something while he was there, that wouldn't have been good. I asked him how he was doing, and what was interesting was he said way better, because he had just been up in Seattle a couple weeks ago where nonviolent protesters were filling water bottles with gasoline, loosely putting the lids on, throwing them at police officers so they'd open up, and then chucking Molotov cocktails at them to try to light them on fire. That's where he was. So he was glad to be back, where there weren't anti-American, Black Lives Matter, Communist Party political movement trying to murder officers. So when I see this, and I see the news about a black man being shot in the back, it's like, nah. A criminal with outstanding warrants and history of violence and abuse resisted arrest and then went into the front seat of his